There comes a moment in life, and maybe you felt it when the house you once filled with voices, dinners, laughter, and routines starts to feel a little too quiet. The kitchen still smells like memories. The photos on the wall still tell stories, but the stairs feel steeper, the closets heavier, the rooms lonelier. If you found yourself walking through your home and wondering, do I still need all this? You're not alone. Thousands of people across the UK, Canada, and the United States ask themselves this very question every year. Is downsizing after 65 worth it? Well, today, let's talk about that. Not just the practical side, but the emotional journey, the memories, the fears, the relief, the grief, and sometimes the surprising joy that comes with letting go. Let's begin not with facts or figures, but with a feeling. A man named James, 72 years old, living just outside of Manchester, had lived in the same house for 41 years. It's where he and his wife had raised 3 children, hosted countless Sunday roasts, and spent quiet winters by the fire. But after his wife passed and the kids moved abroad, the home started to feel like a museum, and James like a caretaker of something that didn't quite belong to the present anymore. He told us in a letter, "I wasn't living in my house, I was maintaining it." For many, that's what this decision is really about. Not about space, but about life. Because after 65, something beautiful and complicated happens. We start to realize that time is no longer about endless years ahead. It's about now, about how we live each day, about what really matters. And for some, downsizing is about creating a life with less burden and more meaning. But let's be honest, it's not that simple. For every person who downsizes and feels free, there's another who downsizes and feels a deep ache. The ache of closing a chapter, of boxing up childhood artwork, of walking away from the garden where they used to sit and sip tea with someone they loved. We carry our memories in our walls, in our curtains, in the creaks of old floorboards. And letting go of that can feel like erasing a part of ourselves. So if you're wondering whether downsizing is worth it, I want to say this first: it's okay to feel torn. It's okay to cry while sorting through old coats. It's okay to laugh out loud at a forgotten photo and feel your heart break at the same time. You are not weak for feeling it all. And downsizing doesn't mean giving up your past. It means making space for your future. Now let me share a different story. Marilyn and Paul, a couple in their late 60s, lived in a large home in upstate New York. 4 bedrooms, a big yard, lots of maintenance. Marilyn had gone through menopause years earlier and still struggled with fatigue and joint pain. Paul was dealing with early-stage arthritis and some intimacy insecurities he hadn't spoken about before. Their house, instead of being a haven, had become something that pulled them apart. The distance between the kitchen and the bedroom, the chores, the decisions, it all began to reflect the emotional distance growing between them. One night, sitting in their cluttered den, Paul said, "I miss us." Not "I miss travel" or "I miss our old routines." He missed connection. The kind they used to have when their world was smaller, when they didn't feel so stretched. It was Marilyn who first said, "What if we sold the house?" At first it felt impossible, but then something shifted. They talked, they cried, they dreamed, and eventually they moved into a small, one-level cottage near a lake. Today, they say, their home feels like a warm blanket. There's no upstairs to divide them. There's less stuff, less stress, more time, and more of them. Downsizing gave them more than a smaller house. It gave them back each other. That's the power of this choice. When approached with care and truth, downsizing isn't just about space. It's about intimacy, with ourselves, with our partners, with life. Because at this stage of life, simplicity isn't boring, it's sacred. Now for some, downsizing doesn't mean selling the family home. It might mean decluttering, renting out a room, moving closer to children or to a community where you feel alive. It might mean finally admitting that the upstairs is too much, that your joints ache, and the thought of shoveling snow again fills you with dread. That doesn't make you old, it makes you wise. Some people worry, what will people think, or will I feel like I've failed? But think of this instead. What if downsizing is an act of love? What if it's a way to take control of your life rather than letting things control you? And what if it's one more step toward living freely, fully, and on your own terms? If your current home still brings you joy, energy, and connection, that's beautiful. There's no rule book that says you have to downsize. But if you feel a constant pull, a nagging weight, if your home feels more like a museum than a sanctuary, if you're spending more time maintaining than living, then maybe it's time to consider something new. There's no shame in starting over, and there's no shame in saying, I want less, but I want better. Whether it's a condo, a co-housing community, a sweet little flat by the sea, or just a decluttered version of the home you already love, you deserve a space that reflects who you are now, not just who you used to be. And if you're in a relationship, let downsizing be something you explore together. Talk about what you really want, what you need, what you miss. Sometimes it's not just the house that needs adjusting. Sometimes it's the habits, the silence, the emotional walls that got built without us noticing. So much changes after 50. Our hormones shift. Our bodies move differently. Desire doesn't always come easily. Self-image becomes more fragile. And sometimes we stop talking to the person sleeping next to us. Not because we don't care, but because we don't know how to say what's really going on. Downsizing, when done with openness, can be a doorway back into intimacy, into laughter, into sitting closer on the couch, into holding hands again. And for those navigating this journey alone, please know this is your time too. You don't need a partner to build a beautiful new chapter. You can downsize into a life that feels like you: quiet mornings, creative afternoons, friendly neighbors, or total solitude. Whatever brings you peace. And through it all, be gentle with yourself. If you cry while leaving a home you loved, that's okay. If you feel scared signing those papers, that's okay. If you second-guess yourself and then feel a strange kind of lightness, that's okay too. Because this life, your life, is not about perfection. It's about being real, being brave, and finding beauty even in the moments of letting go. So, is downsizing after 65 worth it? Only you can answer that. But I hope you now know that the answer isn't just about square footage or money. It's about freedom. It's about connection. It's about honoring what you've built, while still believing in what's to come. If this video gave you something to think about, if it made you feel seen or less alone, or simply more hopeful, would you do something for us? Like this video. Share it with someone who's standing at that same crossroad. And subscribe to The Age of Beauty, where every week we talk honestly and gently about life after 50, about aging not as a decline, but as a deepening, because you are still becoming. And we're right here with you every step of the way. Until next time, take care of your home. But most importantly, take care of you. We'll see you soon.